kind of kicked all you guys out. But yeah, listen, we're good to go now. We're live. Welcome
Okay.
to anyone who's watching the Talking Games podcast. I'm your host Ty, and just above me is Ken Wall. Ken Wall, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk some games.
And just below him is Coffee there. How you doing, Coffee?
I'm good. It's good to be live.
Yeah, listen, just before we fire off, Coffee, what games have you been playing apart from War Tales?
See, I couldn't even tell you that because I only been playing War Tales, bro. I only been playing War Tales, bro. I've been struggling. I need to get into some other stuff.
You guys don't do FIFA, right? So like Madden, and I mean, I don't want to stereotype you guys, right? But Madden and all that kind of stuff, right?
I haven't played a sports game in a long time. I guess I play UFC a little bit. I play UFC 5 a little bit. It's not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah. Because one of the things that during the whole Activision Blizzard deal going through, I can't remember her name, but our EU commissioner, she said, listen, Call of Duty is big and all that kind of stuff, but over here in Europe, FIFA is more important. So, it would have been a different story if it was FIFA. And I thought that was really telling for her to say, because obviously she kind of understands the market. Like, football here is huge. And it's funny because Jim Ryan is talking as well, like, understanding the FTC. And he's just like, yeah, Americans just like guns. That's why it's so big here. Like, in Europe, we're just like, why are you guys obsessed with like shooting people, shooting games? But it's true. It's true for sure. Like, we don't really care much about it. Ken Wall, before we fire off, what games have you been playing?
I've been playing Mario Wonders.
Really? I never took you for a Nintendo guy for some reason.
Oh yeah, I'm like a low-key Nintendo guy. I hop in and out of their ecosystem. Like, I'm be there for their big games. I still have yet to pick up Zelda though, Tears of the Kingdom. But every Mario game I love Mario, so I'm gonna be there for every Mario game. And then like it's just been a lot of fun. Like Nintendo, it isn't my main, but it's my last. Yeah.
Would you say Mario Wonders being nominated is justified at the awards?
No, I don't think this one. In my opinion, I don't think this one should have been there. Because usually in most Mario games, like Wonder, they come with 8 worlds. This one comes with 6. It's very like short, and like they kind of add these new mechanics. But at the same time, it's like a plus and minus thing. It's like an add and subtraction where they, like, for example, wall jumping. Wall jumping is usually their default, like the last Super Mario Bros. Game. But now they made it an ability. So it's like, all right, that's cool. And then they added these new abilities. But some of them are just rehashes of other things. Like, you can use your hat to glide, but there were power-ups that could already do that in the previous games. So yeah,
I've heard talk about the elephant Mario. Like, is that as important as people say it is, or is it just like, typical kind of gimmick?
I haven't seen, like, in terms of I would say it's the least clever thing that they added. He can do some cool things, but it's not the biggest improvement that I've seen. There's like this new ability where you could it's called Dolphin Kick, and you could swim really fast underwater. Like, that's really cool. And then there's this one ability where you could do a wall jump but vertically instead of doing a wall jump like back and forth.
I mean, listen, shout out to Nintendo for being on top of their game.
Yeah, it's still a great game though.
Mario's been around for such they find ways to completely reinvent that guy every single time. Like, I can't think of any other platformer who has that staying power.
Yeah.
The Crash faded out, Rayman faded out, Sonic faded out. Who else is there? Pac-Man's gone.
Sonic evolved into something different that people didn't want. If it stayed the same, I think people would have respected Sonic more. But then they made Sonic Heroes, and they made Shadow the Hedgehog. He had guns.
Yo, yeah, this man had guns, bro.
They started doing some weird stuff with Sonic, and that's why they never did weird stuff with Mario. Not really. They got like different versions of Mario, but Mario usually stays consistent in Mario's like realm of reality.
Yeah, I would say like, you know, I think Sega had a tough one to make because everyone was kind of transitioning into 3D games back then, and I don't know how you transition Sonic into 3D. Like even I'm trying to visualize that and it just doesn't really connect.
Yeah.
Whereas Mario it's quite simple. Like there's no speed elements. It's just kind of like it's a platform game, right? So you just walk, jump, you know, simple stuff. So I
don't think a Flash game would work.
Yeah, Flash games never will work. Like speedsters can't be in games, bro.
Yeah.
Although there is this one
would never come across.
There is this one game I saw on Twitter that they seem to capture that element of speed, but like it has to be continuously moving. It's not like you can't slow down and start platforming, walking around. Like it's just too disjointed, you know. Maybe probably gives like those Starfield kind of vibe. But listen, anyway, let's get on to the topics because I think we might be here for a while, man. So first on the docket this is something I just found on Twitter. I'll get you guys' thoughts on it. Really nice and sweet and short. Amos X Gamer noted that a former developer who worked for 10 years at Undead Labs mentioned on their LinkedIn profile that they worked on animations for unreleased projects. This he thinks might indicate that Undead Labs is currently working on multiple different games alongside State of Decay 3. Nice and quick, Canwell, do you see this as a possibility? Undead Labs, State of Decay 2, relatively, I won't say small team, they've grown for sure, but everyone that they've hired seems to be tied to State of Decay 3. So I find it hard to imagine that they're actually working on a separate project, but that's my take. What's yours?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. My only thing is just knowing how the industry works. Usually they always have another project in the pipeline. So I'm 50-50. I'm like, it's definitely not unbelievable that they have another project in the works, but it is hard to believe because State of Decay, didn't it have like development issues or something as well?
State of Decay 2?
Or no, 3.
It was janky. State of Decay 3 is okay. I think it's kind of commencing along.
Okay. No, but didn't they have there was some controversy with Undead Labs? Like a year ago or two back.
Undead Labs? No, we haven't heard anything about them in a while. They announced State of Decay 3 too damn early. That's exactly what it was. And we haven't seen nothing from them for 2 years. So that's what the controversy is about mostly. It's because
no, they were accused of okay, yeah, they were accused of sexual misconduct and shit. Yeah, that's what they were.
Why are you trying to destroy their name, man? What's wrong with you?
I ain't do that.
It was Undead Labs.
These guys are trying to move on, and you're just there talking.
That's on them.
You're gonna get cancelled, man. But no, I think you're right. There might have been some kind of story, but quickly I don't think it was too. I was gonna say I don't think it was too big of a deal. It's like, nah, let me walk that back. I don't think it was. I don't think it maybe blew up as big as we thought. Coffee, what's your take? Is there a possibility that Undead Labs is working on multiple different projects or not?
I think they are, because for some reason I'm still getting updates for State of Decay 2. And I'm like, don't y'all supposed to be working on a third game? Why am I still getting monthly updates for State of Decay 2? I still play it off and on, but it's still getting like attention, a lot of attention, a lot of detail, a lot of new content. And I'm like, y'all are making a third game though. So they probably have smaller teams working on other things. And then the main body is probably working on State of Decay 3. That's what I'm thinking. While playing State of Decay 2 and getting updates on my Xbox. Like, come on now, bro. Where's the third game? That's what I want. I'm still playing the second one because the third one is not here.
Yeah, but I think for me as well, it's possible for sure, but I doubt it just simply because I feel like we State of Decay 2, it was quite janky and they need to get this one right. And a team like Obsidian, for example, right? It makes sense that they have multiple different projects because those guys are top tier. They know exactly what they're doing. Like, think about Pillars of Eternity 2 when that came out, and Deadfire, like that. Those games were legit. Think about Outer Worlds as well. Like that game was quality. So they have a proven track record of being able to handle multiple different projects. Well, I'll look at Undead Labs and even like Compulsion Games and just think, you guys need to kind of drop something big first, something that's quality. Then you can start splinter off into multiple different teams, right? Like even think about Cory Booker. Apparently he's working on a side project for Santa Monica Studios. So that's gonna be God of War and some new sci-fi IP. So I think the ultimate goal is to have these teams working on different projects, but I think you just have to manage it a little bit better. I'm sorry, a little bit smarter. And I don't think Undead Labs is maybe at that point, but could be wrong. You guys could be right as well. So,
and they're changing engines, so I don't know what they're going to be doing with Unreal Engine 5. That's why I want to see the game so bad.
The thing about State of the Case, like I think it's like Microsoft's probably, I don't want to say dark horse. I think that game has a lot of potential. Like the scope could be something immense. Like live, it could even have like an MMO / story driven multiplayer kind of game. I think I like the sound of that for sure.
Oh no, that would definitely kill State of Decay. State of Decay is a like a zombie apocalypse simulator at its core. You manage a settlement, you have your survivors out here, and you kind of like clean up a town or a city. If they try to turn that MMO style, and no, it's gonna kill the game. They're not ready for none of that.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never played the game before, so I'm just like,
like they have a multiplayer element. It's kind of like a survival, like round based system, and they have a story mode too, where like you play as like a curated survivors, and they have a whole path that you take. It's like the Heartland or something. That's what it's called, and it's actually really good. They have some really good storytelling in State of Decay. Like Undead Labs is a slept on studio because State of Decay 2 has got so much content put into the game from when it launched kind of rough. Like you said, it launched kind of janky, but where it is now is probably one of the best like live service games, even though it's not really like an online game. They did a lot of work making that game the best as it can be. So if they could just copy that and paste it into the third one, State of Decay fans would be happy. They'd be happy. Will they? We don't know.
You know what? I just realized this guy was on the stage for so freaking long, man.
Yeah,
like
Christopher Judge. Yeah.
I'm like just looking at him like, bro, like you like 5 minutes ago you were here, like you're still here on stage.
That shit was ridiculous.
I
think Buddy was drunk, high key.
I think he was very like happy, appreciative, and stuff like that. But like I felt like, bro, the speech was good, but at some point it's just kind of got a bit out of hand. But yeah, listen, let's move on to the next topic. Cameron, I'll come to you first on this one, right? So according to sportsrush, the Assassin's Creed team behind Mirage is currently working on their next project. Now we know Ubisoft has around 9 Assassin's Creed games in production, such as Assassin's Creed Jade, Assassin's Creed Red, Hex, Invictus, Nebula, Raid, Echoes, and apparently a VR2 and Black Flag remake is on the cards. So 9 Assassin's Creed games. Does it make sense to you that the guys at Mirage could be working on Mirage 2, or are they going to be supporting one of these 8 or 9 live service games? But keep in mind, Assassin's Creed Mirage did extremely well. It's around with the same, I remember, the same sales as Odyssey and Valhalla. So it's a hit for Ubisoft, and it's their best-selling next-gen game. Does it make sense to do Mirage 2? Or do you take the team and put them into into one of the other Assassin's Creed game for support?
It's hard because usually Ubisoft does like to merge the teams. So I would hope they wouldn't do a Mirage 2. I would hope they do a game like Mirage, where it's smaller scale, back to the roots, but please improve upon it, add some new stuff instead of adding stuff from a DLC, because Mirage was a DLC originally. But most likely, I think they're probably be supporting their other projects for now, because Ubisoft is going to have to start getting a pipeline out for Assassin's Creed Infinity, their platform that I think codenamed Red should launch on.
Yeah. Coffee, how about you? What's your take? Because I'm kind of in line with Ken. I think, listen, it makes sense for them to obviously start their own Mirage 2 because it's done so well, right? But at the same time, if you got 9 or 8 live service games, 8 Assassin's Creed games in the works, at some point those ones got to come out, right? So for me, it would make more sense for them to just merge the teams a little bit, a bit of support, and then go back to making Mirage 2 once maybe Assassin's Creed VR 2 or Assassin's Creed Nexus is out, or whichever one it may be. Well, what's your take, man?
I was surprised Mirage did well, but I mean,
why? It's not a good game, though.
Well, no, Mirage was a good game. It's just this is not what Ubisoft wants Assassin's Creed to be. It went back to like old style Assassin's Creed. They still kept the combat the same as the new ones. This kind of ruined it for sure. But Mirage was the first game that Ubisoft put the price at the right point, because $70 Ubisoft games is dead. Mirage was $50. Mirage was $50, and it was worth $50. That's why people bought it. It was a good $50 game. If Ubisoft's going to do this again, or are they going to think like, oh, we can make this smaller game and put it at 70? No, you're going to kill your franchise again. And I think Ubisoft is learning. Will it be Mirage 2? No, because the Mirage story kind of ends. Like, the game begins and ends like perfectly fine, because then it blends into, what is it, Valhalla, when he comes in like in the future. So it just does his story until he goes to Valhalla. So that's kind of like his little backstory is done. So the next game that team makes might be another just spin-off game of another character they bring into a mainline game. Mm-hmm. But if they keep the price good, it might be another success. But we know Ubisoft, bro. They gonna ruin it somehow. So, I mean, they should probably just become a support team, because Ubisoft's gonna ruin them. We know it. And they got one success. Ubisoft's gonna be like, yeah, we're about to milk this and ruin it.
Listen, if I'm Ubi, I'm milking it too, to be honest. Like, I'm going back all the timelines. I'm going to Rome. I'm going to freaking
it's a bad thing.
And I'm dropping, these kind of expansion DLCs that's kind of short and easy to, because if you think it's really easy to make, not easy to make, sorry, but it's very it's not as time consuming as the big Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origin games, right? Those games takes a lot of manpower and takes years upon years to kind of produce. Whereas Mirage could have probably just taken a couple of years, really. They're probably reusing assets here and there, just kind of painting over it. So if I'm Ubi, I'm probably trying to make a Mirage 2, like in a different timeline or so. But I get you guys' point as well. So yeah, let's move on to the third topic, which is Dave the Diver and Indie. So in a recent interview, Geoff spoke on some of the controversies and topics involving the Game Awards. For indie nominations, he spoke on the gamers pushing back in relation to Dave the Diver. He said, Dave the Diver was made with a relatively small budget by a small group, but it is part of a larger publisher called Nexon, which normally would disqualify it by some people's standards. So he said he thinks it's a fair debate and discussion. Is the game truly independent or not? It's independent in spirit with a relatively small budget. You could argue both ways on whether it's indie or not, but there are no set rules, and the TGA judges decided that it counts. Ken, is this explanation good enough for you? Is indie vague enough that it makes sense that this mistake or non-mistake can happen?
I don't know, man. To me, we shouldn't be defining like indie. Like, indie just comes about. I thought like it's so, like, at least to me, it's always just some super creative, innovative, niche game that just breaks out. But that all depends. But then there's the technical definition with the developers. This award, I'm be honest, I don't really care for it. I didn't really care about any of the indies, so I get why people are flipping out about it. But to me, this suffice enough. I really don't care. I ain't going to bat for this argument. Like I think I can get why people are getting mad at it, but I can get where Geoff is coming from.
Basically, you're like, guys, get over it. Who cares? It isn't that deep. You're like, what the hell, guys? Like, of all the topics to go crying about, like, this is the one you want to choose. But listen, Coffee, listen, you hear what Geoff said himself. It can go either way. There's no definition for indie developers or independent developers. Do you think his reason makes sense as to why Dave the Diver got nominated? Or are you thinking this is crap? Clearly, indie is defined, and Dave the Diver shouldn't be in there.
See, that's a weird thing because everybody see indie as different. Like nobody defines indie kind of the same way. So when he said, "Oh, the team was small, the budget was small," I'm like, there's big studios making small games like Dave the Diver. That's an indie game technically, but then there's independent studios making games. CD Projekt Red made Witcher 3. They were independent. Nobody owns them. CD Projekt's their own thing. So The Witcher 3 is technically an indie game because an indie developer made it. Right. But like, does the scale of game disqualify from being indie? Does funding disqualify from being indie? Like, what actually defines an indie game in all reality? Nobody knows. But when we see a small game from like a studio of 10 people, that's an indie game for sure, because they have nothing. They literally poured their heart, their soul, and their money into this game, and they put it out for us to enjoy. Just their passion. It's a passion project. So when I see big studios do it, like Obsidian did it, they made Pentiment, that's an indie game to me. That's not a big budget game. They're not even AA, AAA. It's a fucking indie game. But Obsidian did make it, and they are funded by Microsoft. I don't know. These are things that, people can argue about this every day, forever, and it's never going to find a resolution. So, I mean, Dave the Diver, it goes. It's in. Is it going to win? Who knows?
To be honest, I'm like, listen, I think we're all in agreement here. Like, and said, like, who cares? Like, who actually cares? That's number one. And number two, like, listen, I was listening to a few podcasts with some people talking about the topic as well. And there was one thing that I found really, really interesting, is that someone will be saying with so much conviction, it's not an indie. But then his co-host is like, kind of looks like one, man. Kind of plays like one too. So I'm like, the fact that you can have people within your circle like debate about it, like you guys, right? Just like you guys with me, it shows that, like, listen, Geoff isn't like Geoff and the panel members, whoever chose Dave the Diver to be an indie. They're not out of pocket. Like, there's arguments for it. So I think it's a non-topic, non-issue. Listen, if Dave the Diver wins, I could see how maybe a different developer might feel aggrieved. Like, I could see the guys who made Cult of the Lamb, for example, right? Or the guys who did Sea of Stars. They could be like, yo, what the hell are we talking about here? Like, we had 10 guys, we did Sea of Stars. Now you're about to give this award to Dave the Diver, or these guys who have this massive publisher. So I could see why they would be aggrieved. But that's their business. I don't care. Like, this doesn't affect me at all. So
And another thing about that, like, nobody would know Dave the Diver wasn't an indie if we didn't have the internet telling us that it wasn't. I don't know who made Dave the Diver. I didn't know they had a publisher backing them.
I thought it was indie.
Did we figure that out?
When I saw Dave the Diver, I was like, oh, it's an indie game.
Yeah. Instantly thought it was an indie game. Yeah. But then it's like, oh, that's a big publisher's game. And you're like, oh, really? Yeah. So people just pulled this outrage out the fucking sky. Like, because when you saw Dave the Diver come up as a nominee, you're like, okay, these indie games look kind of cute. And then somebody told you, hey, that was made by a big budget publisher, right? Now you're mad. Come on now, bro.
Yeah. Come on. What? I don't even know if they're mad. I just think someone's telling them to be mad about it. That's probably what it feels like to me, man. But listen, sticking to the Game Awards, this is just a point of just note. Game Awards has been confirmed to have tighter security to prevent people from running on stage. No real takes on it, but Ken, you know, what are your thoughts on this? Because the last time, I mean, the fact that this happened at the Game Awards, right? And it happened at the
Summer
at
Gamescom. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Gamescom.
Gamescom.
I'm thinking to myself, when it happened at Gamescom, you literally had Todd Howard just come on the stage like right after, and when it happened at the Game Awards, I'm thinking, bro, you had like actors and actresses in Hollywood, you know, invited, you know, big names at your production. You also had the big names, the CEO. You had Doug Bowser there from Nintendo. You had Phil Spencer there. You had directors like Kojima. How the hell do you have these people and you have someone run up on stage and just like potentially like attack him and do stuff with them?
Yeah,
like, that's a really bad look.
I think they definitely have security, but probably not stage security. If you get what I mean. So they're probably like, all right, I've been patted down, went through the metal detector and stuff. So they're probably thinking they're good. Yeah. It's like the simplest things where it's like, oh, because like some people just go like, you know, we don't need to pay for that. We could save a little bit of our budget to go put it into something else. And then you have shit like that happens. Yeah,
it wasn't good, you know. And I remember there was someone when it happened at Gamescom again, somebody said, why are you guys laughing? Don't do this. This is bad, etc., etc., etc. You know, it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And I'm thinking, you're attacking the fans for laughing at this. Like, how about you tweet Geoff and tell him like, yo, bro, like this shouldn't be happening again. Like, I'm like, the fact that you telling the fans to not laugh, it's ridiculous to me. It's like, you know, just shifting the blame. Yeah, I didn't think the kid coming up on stage was funny per se, but you know, it turns into a meme. Yeah, and I can joke around with it, whatever it is, but it shouldn't happen in the first place. It has nothing to do with me trying to laugh about it. But anyways, Coffee, I mean, I'm thinking you probably share the same thoughts. Correct? No?
I don't know why Geoff it's always Geoff's show too. It's just they don't like Geoff. I think that's what it is. So they like, let's go ruin his show. Let's go ruin his show the best way we can.
Because it's a pony.
The fact that a random kid literally we all heard the Discord call where he's like, I'm gonna go on stage. He's telling his friends on Discord, I'm gonna go on stage. And this man gets up and walks the stage with Miyazaki and them. Like, do y'all not rehearse this stuff before the Game Awards happen? Like, oh, you come up stage this way, we shake hands, I give you the award, you go back down.
They definitely do.
How did you not know this random kid wasn't with his entourage? And they're Japanese, so they don't know. They don't know if he's the interpreter or not because, you know, they speak in Japanese, bro. So he walks up to the mic, exactly, and they're all holding their awards. Like, okay, what is this guy doing? He just starts saying random stuff in the mic. And Geoff and him is just standing there like, who is this kid? Y'all didn't rehearse with this kid. Why did he even make it to the stage?
Yo, do you need better security? When I first saw that kid, I was thinking to myself, I was like, he's so out of place, but I don't want to sound racist.
I was like, this kid ain't I was like, this kid is not Japanese. Something is going on, bro.
I was lost. I was like, who is this kid? He literally just walked up there. I'm like, bro, who is this kid walking up on stage with Miyazaki?
You could see him trying to get behind them. You could see him like nudging, trying to get behind, and he just wasn't comfortable. I was like, all right, man, get this kid out of here. Let's see what happens.
The Gamescom one was different. I think they were like protesting or something. They had something on his shirt. I don't know what it said. I can't remember.
It was another troll as well. Like apparently he does it as well a lot. He just runs on, you know, TV sets and just
like, they had run on stage with something on his shirt because he wanted to show something and they was chanting something. I don't know what the hell they were saying. But the fact that the cameraman and Geoff and him just stood there and let him do this in front of camera. We're live, bro. Like, y'all didn't just camera cut to somebody else while he storms the stage and y'all get him off. They don't practice. They don't have no protocol for it. It's crazy. Geoff been doing the show a long time. He didn't expect, when we get big, we probably need to secure our perimeter a little bit. No. He just got too careless, bro. He's like, oh, I'm Geoff. I can do it. Yeah. And now look at him.
It's crazy because it's kind of like, is he thinking like, oh, gamers are mature? Oh, they ain't. They really ain't. Like, gamers are a bit like I used to argue like years ago, like, no, we're mature, like we're respectful, like we play games that are educational as well, Assassin's Creed Origins. But after like the recent years, I'm just like, nah, we're just stupid. Like,
once you learn that the console warriors exist, then you're like, oh, okay.
As soon as I joined Twitter, I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, bro.
Like, it was insane. But yeah, listen, let's move on to another talking point. Silent Hill 2 remake. So the developer of the anticipated Silent Hill 2 remake, made by Bloober Team, has taken an unusual step by releasing a statement in appealing for patience as calls for gameplay by fans intensify. They stated, "We understand that many players around the world are eagerly anticipating news about this game, and we appreciate your dedication. However, we ask kindly for a bit of more patience. Once Konami, as the game's publisher, shares more information, we are confident that the wait will be worthwhile." Now, a lot of people were speculating that this came out of nowhere, and this clearly wasn't a response to the fans. That maybe it's them calling out Konami to speak on this game or to give them a higher budget, etc., etc. Listen, the conspiracy goes many, many different ways. So the other take is this is them just talking to players, saying, "Hey, stop tweeting at us about this game. Stop asking us for gameplay. We are not the publisher. We develop the game, and the publisher deals with the marketing and the communications. Go talk to them." Coffee, which one do you think it is? Controversy or non-story?
I don't think it's controversy. I know Sony has been teasing Silent Hill for a long time, and then the fans finally got a trailer, and then that's all they got was a trailer. A lot of fans didn't want Bloober Team putting their hands on Silent Hill, but since Konami chose Bloober Team, nobody else could stop them. Now they just have to sit here and wait, and fans are impatient. They're always impatient. Bloober Team coming out telling them to, "Hey, bro, calm down," or go send that shit to Konami is kind of wild. They probably are calling out Konami high key because they probably wanted to show things a while. Konami said, "No, keep your head down, keep working." So they probably trying to nudge Konami into releasing at least a trailer, a story trailer, a gameplay trailer, something, character reveal. They just want to get some hype going behind the game so their name can get bigger. Because Bloober Team only made a couple games. They made what was the painting game called? Layers of Fear. That was Bloober Team, wasn't it? I think Layers of Fear was Bloober Team. I think the 2 World game that they made for Xbox.
About
yeah, Layers of Fear is them.
Yeah, Layers of Fear is them. The 2-layer game with the girl.
The medium.
Yeah, the medium was them. And those were like alright received games.
It's because I know some people weren't happy with the fact that they were making it, but I'm thinking to myself, the medium apparently is a decent game. Like it's a hard decent game, and it's a new IP, so they had to obviously create it from the ground scratch. If the team that made the medium make Silent Hill 2 remake, which already has a story or structure, I don't see how they could miss. Like I'm actually I'm surprised. Like I don't think they'll miss
I
at all.
can see why you would hire them.
It was the PlayStation fans, bro, because they made the medium for Xbox. Remember, it was Xbox exclusive for like 6 months.
Oh, you said this is console war stuff.
Oh,
yeah, it was console warrior stuff. That's exactly why they didn't want Bloober Team touching the game. So when they made the medium for Xbox, they're like, "Oh, Bloober Team's trash." Why? Because the medium got like a 81 or something. I don't know. The medium didn't get a high score on Xbox. It got an 80, just like every other Xbox game did. So they like, "Oh no, this mid team," because they heard Konami was going to pick them up to make Silent Hill. They was like, "Hell no, that team's trash. Pick somebody else," because they wanted Kojima to go back in there. Because remember, PT, the playable teaser for Silent Hill, that PlayStation had, everybody wanted Kojima back in there. Give it back to Kojima. No, we're not doing that. Konami don't like him no more. So that's how this whole Bloober Team thing started. But then the medium came to PlayStation, and people actually liked the game. And they're like, "Oh, well, never mind." But it was after it came to PlayStation that they was all right with Bloober Team making Silent Hill. And
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Ken Wall, I mean, does that connect for you as well?
I think so. I haven't been keeping up with this whole drama with Silent Hill 2 remake, so I just know that people were. This game has been heavily speculated, and then when it was announced, it's just been a heavily anticipated game. Was this the game that got confused where it was like, all right, this is going to be Kojima's is it Kojima? Yeah, Kojima's next game, and then it was that weird other project.
No.
It's not that one, okay?
No, I know you're talking about.
Okay.
That game is dead.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I think we're kind of more or less on the same page. I mean, listen, it could be a bit of a call out, a shout out to Konami, but I think the main thing is really just talking to fans, telling them like, stop tweeting me, like, stop tweeting at me, stop sending freaking messages and emails to our guys. Let's move on to a different topic. Nintendo. Right. So after 7 years of shipping over 132 million consoles and amassing 1 billion game sales, Nintendo's popular Switch platform has made nearly 74 billion. This, however, comes off the back of the Wii U, which was classed as a failure. What does Nintendo need to do to ensure the Switch 2 doesn't repeat the Wii U's life cycle, instead focuses more on the Switch 1? So, do they need to improve the graphics, the power? Do they need to keep an eye on the Steam Deck as a competition? Do they need to reach out to third-party studios to develop more third-party games for them? So should we start seeing games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor on the Switch 2? Or does Nintendo just need to just keep doing what they're doing? Ken, I'll go to you first.
Easy. I got one answer. We better be able to bring all our games over. All our games over. You can't do Nintendo, you are out of your mind if that library just goes away with the Switch 1.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think they need to do. They don't have to change anything about the graphics. They got to just keep doing them, but just the only thing you take from Xbox and PlayStation is that digital library. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really big talking point that I've been hearing everyone say. Like, I think everyone actually echoes what you're saying as well. It's pretty much just, hey, Nintendo needs to let me play my old games on the Switch too. And if they don't, I mean, it's funny because the dude was like, if they don't, I'll hate them, but I'll still buy the goddamn system. So, like, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Coffee, how about you?
I won't buy day one, but I'll buy it.
You will get it eventually. Yeah, this is the same thing. Like, Smash Bros. 2 or Smash Bros. Ultimate 2 comes out.
See, I'm still not too certain that Nintendo just goes straight to Switch 2. I look, it could just be me with my pattern recognition, but Nintendo's real good at just botching something in the middle of something great. We all saw the Wii was dominating, doing real good, and then they start making handheld exclusive games. The Wii U came, they start fumbling the bag, and then we got the Switch, a dominant platform. But as Nintendo goes, they're going. I can see them just going a completely different direction again, all in the name of innovation. I'm not going to say they don't do good work. Like, they do some good work. It's just like, come on now, some of your studios be making top tier games. If they had the engines and the power, the graphics to do some amazing stuff. But Nintendo's like, oh, you can make it for a Nintendo DS Lite. Really? There's whole mainline games that are stuck on legit handheld consoles, and Nintendo might just do it again.
It's actually the reason
they dominate Japan. They could do it again. They don't have to make a home console again. They're Nintendo, bro.
There's no Silicon Knights, right? The guys who made Eternal Darkness. Apparently, the reason why they actually left Nintendo was because Nintendo was refusing. I think Nintendo was making the Wii. Yes, I think they were looking to make the Wii. They were like, "What the hell is this weak ass platform? What's going on here?" Yeah, and they were just shocked that Nintendo was going down this route of oh, motion controls and graphics are gonna be cool. And they were like, "Is it even HD?" They're like, "Nah, it ain't HD, guys." So they're like, "Yeah, we're out of here. We want to make good games. we don't want to be stuck in the past." So yeah, Coffee, I get what you're saying. Nintendo
might just do it because they're Nintendo. You just said they made a lot of money, $700 billion with the Switch. They could take a couple years off. They could take 5 years off, do some outrageous stuff because they're Nintendo, and then come back with the Switch 2. You know they're going to be on top.
You know what?
True. That is like.
Go ahead.
No, I like that line of thing because they do throw curveballs. I think
they do, but I feel like any announcement about them not doing the Switch 2 and doing something different will impact their shares tremendously.
They are right. They're Nintendo. We know what's gonna happen.
But
they're gonna do this. Their little weird handheld is gonna come.
You think about it, the reason why the GameCube the GameCube didn't do too well, right? And they pivot to the Wii. The reason why they're able to do that is because everybody knows, the shareholders knows that the GameCube 2 is probably gonna get destroyed against the PS3 and Xbox 360. So that shift made sense. But when you have a winning formula like this, I don't think it makes sense to switch it up. Now they could do it. It is Nintendo after all. But I can instantly see backlash from every single buddy. Even people eternally Nintendo is gonna think like, what are you doing, guys? Like, we can use the Switch 2 and build off that. Be innovative with like the Switch 2 or whatever it may be with the controls. But to pivot away from the Switch 2, the handheld model, it wouldn't make sense. And I think the other reason why it wouldn't make sense is because if you really think about it, they've actually merged the console and the handheld markets together. So they don't actually have multiple divisions anymore. It's actually just one division. So if you strayed away too much from that, you're gonna basically kill off one segment, console or the handheld side.
They're fine. Right? They gonna come out with a DS Ultra. People gonna buy it. The next Shin Megami Tensei is gonna be exclusive to it. Everybody's gonna be like, "Why would you do this to us again, Nintendo?" But they're gonna buy it anyway. They're gonna sell probably like 60 million units of that, and then they're gonna be like, "Okay, the Switch 2 are coming in a couple years," and everybody's gonna rejoice. They're like, "Yes, Nintendo, they're listening." No, they're not. They're just experimenting. That's what they always do. They already had the Switch in the bag for a while. Why do you think it was 360 level? That shit probably been cooking since the Wii.
360 level.
The Switch is 360 level. Why? Because it probably been cooking since the Wii. They probably already had that, but why? They went to the DS for like what, four iterations of DS before the Switch came out. Why would they do such thing? It was experimenting, bro. They were trying to see how much can they push in the handheld market before they needed to make some money, and they had how many DSs come out, and then the Switch blew up. 700 billion. Go experiment again. If they don't, then it's fine. They're growing, but it's Nintendo, bro. They're going to experiment somehow.
I have some pushback, but like, I mean, just for the sake of getting this content out, let's move on. We'll agree to disagree on that point. I get over what you're saying. I just don't think they're going to be that crazy enough to even try anything remotely that different. But
I want them to.
We'll see.
Start making cell phone games. Oh man, Nintendo would do it.
Okay, let's move on to the Xbox confusion, which is probably the main topic of the show. So just to get you guys' thoughts on this one, right? In a recent interview, Xbox Chief Financial Officer Tim Stewart described what success looked like to Xbox. He defined it as gaming content and services revenue doing the double digits. That means smart TVs, mobile devices. That also means Xbox doesn't look at PlayStation and Nintendo as competitors in the traditional sense. He stated, "We're going to NVIDIA's GeForce Now, their gaming subscription service." And the next controversial line for some people was, Xbox's mission is to bring its first-party experience and subscription services to every screen that can play a game, including PlayStation and Nintendo. This had some creators like Clobero stating, Microsoft wants to sell Xbox consoles, but at the same time, they somehow also want to be a third-party publisher. That's one way to give Xbox fans no confidence. Neon as well also went on to say, Xbox, can you please clarify, are you guys a third-party publisher or platform holder? Kenwall, you can answer the question for Neon. Is Xbox a publisher or platform holder, and is what Tim Stewart's saying giving off inconsistent messaging from Xbox?
I think they do give off inconsistent messaging, because they just don't know. They're tasked, because how bad the goddamn Xbox One was. It's made them pivot, and their strategies are conflicting with each other, where they have this great service in Game Pass, but they have a console that is also great, but it's hard for them to show people why it's great, because they have to appeal to both. So they're both. They're a console maker and they are a publisher, in short. But we'll get into it more. That's just what I have to say right now.
Yeah. Coffee, how about you? What's your take? Is Xbox a platform holder, or are they a publisher? And are the fears and questions that Global and are asking, are they legit?
See, I've been on Xbox a long time, and they're still a platform holder. But what people they don't want to realize, I know they've seen it. They've seen it since Xbox One generation, since Phyllis got there. The platform went from Xbox the console to Game Pass the platform. So Game Pass is the platform. Xbox hardware is a accessory to Microsoft. Microsoft's a software company, and as long as their software is making them money, they are going to lose on hardware no matter what. So when people see like, oh, Xbox is trying to sell a console, they're trying to sell you a console. They're also trying to sell you Game Pass. And if you buy Game Pass and not the console, they still get your money. That's what they're trying to get at. So if they can get Sony to think like, oh, we get Game Pass on PlayStation, it make us a better place to play, which it kind of does. PlayStation fans don't have to leave PlayStation, but Xbox also don't have to sell an Xbox to still get your money, because PlayStation fans will subscribe to Game Pass and Xbox will get that subscription monthly, and they're making so much. They're making hundreds of billions of dollars every month on Game Pass, on PC, on phones, on Xbox. If they can get another platform holder, because they just got Nvidia to do it with GeForce Now, if they can get PlayStation or Nintendo to let them into their ecosystem too, Xbox still wins. People that complain about consoles, they might be scared, but Game Pass has been the platform they've been building since the Xbox One died halfway through the generation. When they hired Phil and they created Game Pass, the Xbox console has always been a piece of hardware to them. It is not the home of gaming no more on Xbox's side. It hasn't been for a long time. Xbox fans can act like it has been. They want you to buy the console. That's why they make a good one. But they also made a bad one. Not a bad one, but like a weaker one, because they just want people to play their games. That's why they put it on PC. Because every PC is not the best. It's not the top tier. It's just a way you can play it. Every phone is not the same. There's different levels. And Microsoft has been pushing like that. How do you think they got Sony's game on Game Pass on PC? That game never hit Xbox, but I have Xbox achievements for what the hell is it called? For Death Stranding. I have Xbox achievements for Death Stranding, and it's not an Xbox game. Why? Because they can support Game Pass, they can't support Xbox. So as long as people support Game Pass, Microsoft will be doing fine well into the future. They will still make Xbox consoles for the people that want to play it that way, but that's not the only way to distribute in software no more. Now, Sony, on the other hand, you have to buy a PlayStation to distribute software to people because they don't want to put it everywhere else. They want everybody to come to their console. Microsoft's like, hey, if you want to buy this shit on your PlayStation, hey, call Sony and tell them to let us put it on there. They will put it on there. Will they go third party? No, they'll still sell Xbox, but Game Pass would definitely be there, and people would definitely pay for it. You know, and Microsoft understands.
I think to kind of double up on your point, there was a recent article by VGC where they stated that a poll of 501 U.S. children aged 10 to 17 it found that 72% of respondents plan to ask for video game gifts for Christmas. Ahead of the gifts, ahead of clothes and accessories, subscription service was ranked really high. So, is it a case that to Ken Wall, is it a case that Xbox is looking at these figures and saying, hey, listen, the future generation, they don't want these consoles, as Coffee is saying, per se. They want subscription services. They just want to be digitized, and they're not into console wars. They just care about the games and the product. Therefore, Xbox has seen this and they've pivoted to get this market. And maybe they're there first because, Sony's making some moves as well that kind of indicates that they're willing to go beyond the console. I believe Jim Ryan literally just did a partnership with sorry. Jim Ryan just literally did a partnership with with NC Soft, which is a global premier developer and publisher. And Jim Ryan stated, partnering with NC Soft advances our strategy to expand beyond the console and broaden the PlayStation's reach to a wider audience. Is Microsoft right in their approach? And has, I guess you could say, Nintendo moving to the mobile market and Sony trying to get into the mobile and PC market, has this solidified it that actually, it's all about where your content is as opposed to having it in one place?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about accessibility. As long as there's a low barrier to entry, people are going to show up. As long as you have that, Sony knows that's the thing that I look forward to in the future. At least if they don't derail themselves, I felt like the good job that Jim Ryan did was preparing them for a future like this, to not rely on the console so much, because if Xbox continues down this path, then Sony's going to be some niche. The PlayStation's going to be some niche box that you have in the future, way down in the future. But I like this, and it shows that, like that poll that I sent you on VGC, I'm interested in what subscription services they would count, because PlayStation Plus would still count as a subscription service, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. So it's good. It's definitely something Microsoft has data on, because you're always going to be looking for when's your time. This isn't Xbox's time right now, but in the future, who knows? So I definitely think this is the right path that all these companies got to be on. Nintendo, I don't really know, but when it comes to the two console companies, Xbox and Sony have definitely got to expand beyond the console, which Xbox has already. They already gotten the head start above Sony.
Would you say that the expansion to go beyond the console is one of the reasons why Xbox's console sales are being negatively affected? Because you don't have to obviously buy a console to play Starfield. You don't have to do any of these things. We're still seeing Sony push our exclusives on the PS5, whereas with Xbox, there is technically no exclusive.
Yeah, 100%. Because there's a lot of PC gamers. So, and I know, I'm not saying like I know a whole bunch, but I know many people that have a PC and a PlayStation, and then they have Game Pass on their PC. So I'm one of those people where I didn't buy a Series X because I have my PC, and I love how that works. I love how that works a lot, because now I'm like, hey, I don't have to spend like $500 on a console. So like, when it comes to me as a consumer, I love what Xbox has done with that. But when it comes to the Xbox console itself, I'm like, that completely hurt it. To me, I when they announced that the exclusives were going to PC, I was like, oh, it's the console's done pretty much, because the console's still expensive. It's not like the Switch, where the Switch many people could buy. You have so many people owning a Switch, but With the Xbox, you're not going to have that. With a PlayStation, you're not going to be having that.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I think it is affecting it somewhat. One of my friends, he's switched from Xbox to PC. He's done with the consoles, because with Sony, you just can't do that because those games will come out day and date. So, a coffee. Do you think that what's his name? James Stewart, is it? Tim Stewart, sorry. Do you think he could have worded that better? Or are you thinking, listen, it is what it is? Like, Microsoft has said this over and over again. We will put some games on PlayStation and Nintendo. Some games will be on, mobile, whatever it is. We're trying to expand. That's why we got ABK. You guys know this by now. Why are you guys complaining now? Tim Stewart didn't go out of pocket. He's being consistent. Or should he have said, with the caveats, which is, Xbox mission is to bring its first-party experiences and subscription services to every screen that can play a game, including PlayStation and Nintendo for some of our games. I think he should have said that last part.
I mean, everybody knows for some of the games. They've been saying this a long time. Why do you think Quake and Quake 2's remake went on PlayStation? They got like 95s this year. Like, they're good games. They went on there. They got little remasters, and they did good. PlayStation fans bought it. Xbox fans bought it. PC fans bought it. I don't know if it went to Nintendo. It probably went to the Switch. Is not a graphically, consuming game or nothing like that. But like, Xbox has been doing this since the Xbox One. It's just nobody was at the Xbox One. This is why all this news comes out, and everybody's so confused. Because everybody was on PlayStation 4 when Xbox was doing all this. When Xbox was telling their fans that had that box right there that we're going to PC because there's nobody on this box but y'all. We had to sit there and understand in 2016 that, our box is not about to be the only place to play these games. And then they start dropping games on PC and Xbox day and date. They created the Play Anywhere program. So when I bought Starfield, I got Starfield on PC for free. I can mod the game as much as I want. They got all the data syncs back and forth. So if I play Starfield on PC, then I go boot it up on my Xbox or I launch it on xCloud, I still have my same data. It's like I never stopped playing the game. They built this infrastructure when nobody was around. So now that people like Xbox, people like the Xbox console they produced, now they're seeing the Xbox doesn't care that much about the console, and they're confused. They couldn't care about the console because when they did care about it, nobody bought it. So now that people are buying the console that they're kind of shying away from, they made the hardware for people that want it. I only bought an Xbox Series X because Quick Resume is actually a really good feature, and I use it for like 10 games. And I keep using it. I play on PC here and there, but then I would X out a game and forget to save. And I'd be like, if only I was playing this on Xbox. But there's games that won't come to Xbox that's on PC. That's why I have mine.
I
but
think
for fans that are confused, though,
I think some of the points you're saying there is really valid. That like Xbox has been doing this for a long time. There's nothing new about this. Everybody, Quake is the best example. Like, that game could have been an exclusive game. They had no reason to release a remaster. And I guess kind of makes me think as well, like, because they're gonna decide when to drop some of these games. Do you guys think? And kind of ask you first. Do you think the Oblivion remake that we're hearing about? Do you think that's going to be a multi-platform game? It's going to be on PlayStation as well. And two, do you think, regardless of if you think it is going to be on multi-platform or not, would you say it's in Xbox's best interest to keep that as an exclusive game?
No. It's going to be multi-platform for one of two reasons. One is because Oblivion, you can play it right now on Xbox in 60 frames, HDR'd up. It looks good. It plays good. It feels good. It's still the same Oblivion that you own. I have the case somewhere. I could just put that game in and play it right now. So the only people benefiting from Oblivion getting remade are people that are, the pixel counters that want to see every game big, beautiful 4K, and the PlayStation platform, because they don't have Oblivion at all. So the fans that love Oblivion that is on that platform, they are going to buy it because they can't play it anyway. They wouldn't be able to play it without it. And maybe Nintendo.
I guess I see your point. There's a lot of reasons why it makes sense. Again, I guess, do you agree with this with Coffee that like, yeah, it probably will be multi-platform and it probably makes sense? Because I have a very different take, but go ahead.
I agree. I don't think Oblivion is. I don't think it's gonna. It's not a move shaker. It's not. Like you said, it's already accessible. Yeah, it's already very accessible. So I don't see why they wouldn't do that.
I feel like I agree with you guys 100%. I think that's probably what's going to happen. And obviously, because you can put it on Game Pass, it's already a win, right? And you're gonna make more money because it's gonna be on PlayStation. And they say it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna shake the kingdom or whatever. I guess I feel like whenever your opponent takes something from you, you gotta take something back.
But they can't take something that they don't have.
Well, hold on.
They don't have Oblivion at all, so how can you take it?
No, but hold on. Silent Hill 2 is, Silent Hill released on the Xbox before, right?
Yeah, it's backwards compatible right now. You can go play Silent Hill 2 on Xbox.
So Silent Hill 2 remake, the remake is a PlayStation exclusive. Sony said, we are not gonna, don't put that on Xbox. So when your opponent is targeting you and taking games away from you, it's a bit bizarre that because you could do like for like. You take a remake from us, we ain't giving you Oblivion remake. But for them to take something from you and then you to say, well, here's ours, that just seems like I could see why an Xbox fan is like, what the hell's the point? Because here's the thing with Game Pass. Game Pass is good, it's great. I don't think it's that important. Because I think what would always trump Game Pass is consistent, exclusive, top quality games. Right now, if I had to pick between Xbox in 2024 and PlayStation 5 in 2024, and I'm thinking I'm a fan of Silent Hill, I'm a fan of Oblivion. Well, if PS5 is getting Silent Hill 2 remake as an exclusive and it's getting Oblivion remake, and Xbox is only getting Oblivion remake, well, the choice is easy. Get the PS5. You guys get my point. Like it's very weird that your opponent attacks you and you don't respond.
But if you're a fan of Oblivion, how do you not already have Oblivion?
No, but we're talking remake now, though.
But if you're a fan of it, you already played it. How many fans of Oblivion is waiting on a remake? Nobody, because you can still play Oblivion right now. Well, any fan of Oblivion, nobody's waiting on that remake.
Console, if you're a console gamer, right? So like you don't do PC, so you ain't really with the mods, right? Oblivion is a very old. I mean, like what came out in the early 2000s. Like the game's out of date. So it's very out of date. Now,
no, it's not.
2008?
No. Go boot up Oblivion right now, bro. It plays better than Skyrim does.
Stop.
I don't know about that one.
Oblivion fan to tell you that Oblivion has always been a better game than Skyrim. Skyrim is just a game that popped.
Okay, well, fair enough. I'll give you this, yeah. What I'll say is this: the same way how like The Last of Us 2 remake, even though that's a bit of a stretch, the same way these remakes can get people excited again for the franchise. Yeah, I know. For example, right, I played Oblivion a little bit. I ain't going back to it. The game is probably just outdated for my liking, right? But if you give me and I don't mean a remaster. If it's a remaster, it's a different topic. But if you give me a remake of the game, in the same vein as Star Wars, the same vein as Final Fantasy, same vein as Metroid Prime, I'm probably gonna purchase it. I'm interested in it. So I could see the Oblivion remake doing relatively well on the PlayStation, because you're also gonna have these fans who never really played it, who never really got into it. They probably got into Skyrim. Not everybody who buys Skyrim goes back to play the previous games, right? So once again,
everybody plays Skyrim. Nobody's played Oblivion.
Exactly. So I can see how. So exactly, if you can release a remake of Oblivion, which is going to have elements of Skyrim, it's probably going to have quality of life issues or the quality of life perks. I can see why people would want to play Oblivion. I want to play Oblivion remake. And the question is, how important is it? And I think that.
Here's the thing, Ty. Here's the thing. The reason why I don't think it would be that important, like now, currently post Starfield, Bethesda. I don't think people are gonna move for a Bethesda game like that. It's got to be really good.
Well, okay. Which one you think is more important? Silent Hill 2 remake or Oblivion remake?
Silent Hill 2's remake.
Silent Hill 2.
They've been teasing this game since the PlayStation 4.
It's way in terms of what's more anticipated. Silent Hill 2.
Legit, Oblivion's remake is a cash grab for Bethesda.
Yeah.
We all know that. Every fan knows this is a cash grab for Bethesda. People haven't played Oblivion because everybody plays Skyrim. That's where everybody started loving Bethesda. Everybody that started loving them at Morrowind and Oblivion, they didn't like Skyrim that much anyway. But guess what? The mass populace love Skyrim. So Skyrim is the direction they went in. But Morrowind and Oblivion were better games.
Okay, well,
Those were better games. All old Bethesda fans would tell you that. So the new fans.
I'll rephrase the question in this way, right then. Coffee, you're the CEO of Xbox Gaming. Get a call from Konami saying, "Yo, we ain't dropping Silent Hill 2 on your shit because Sony called us and says, screw them hoes, we're keeping this shit on our platform," right? Yeah. So they've taken something from you.
All's fair in love and war.
So you don't respond. You don't take nothing from them back.
You can't take something they don't have, bro. That's the thing.
Like, if you're gonna drop Oblivion on this platform, then
you can withhold Oblivion's remake. But for what reason? When you already gave your fans one of the best ways to play Oblivion right now,
for war,
and then you can remake it to make some money. But if you remake it to make some money and you choose not to make the money, why remake the game to begin with? Your fans can already play it backwards compatible and it's free in Game Pass right now. What reason besides putting it on PlayStation and Nintendo does anybody outside of Xbox and PC need to buy this remake? Unless you're a pixel counter and you want to see this game looking cute.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense, does it? So you have to put it on PlayStation, you have to put it on Nintendo, because those are the fans that haven't played the game probably, or haven't bought the game for fucking $5 or played it in Game Pass already, and you can milk them for it. That's what Bethesda was going to do before Xbox bought them. But now they really don't need the cash grab money no more because they have Microsoft in their pocket. They might not even release the remake no more.
Nah, they're gonna drop it. But like, listen, Ken, I'll ask you then. You know, you're the CEO of Xbox Gaming. You know, you're chilling on your couch. You know, you get a phone call from Konami. They're like, "Hey, listen, we ain't dropping Silent Hill 2 on your platform no more because Sony called us up and they're paying us to keep it away from your system." You say, "Okay, cool." Do you respond and say, "Okay, well, we ain't gonna drop Oblivion on Sony system because we ain't about to give them 2 freaking remakes," or do you actually drop Oblivion on their platform?
I'm dropping Oblivion on their platform.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I'm dropping it. It's, to me, it's not that big of. If you're talking Skyrim, then I'm keeping that for sure. 100%, I'm keeping Skyrim as a remake on my platform. But Oblivion, I think Oblivion is too old, and like what Coffee's saying, most of the mainstream starts with Skyrim. That's where the mainstream fans come in. So Oblivion is something that's, if you're gonna, it's gonna be something like, it's gonna be in the vein of what they're doing with The Last of Us. They're just doing this to just make a little bit of money, milk it, and yeah, again, milk it, make some money. So why not just put it on PlayStation and Nintendo, where but you have more of a chance of fans coming in and buying it.
I guess you could put it this way, like, you know, they released Quake on multiple different platforms and they didn't have to. So, you know, they thought that so that's a way to make money and to probably grow the franchise. So you guys are probably right. I see the pros and cons, but I don't know. I think I'm taking it away. I think as soon as I hear Silent Hill is gone, I'm like, oh, okay, you want to do that? Yeah, let's.
Oh, you're petty.
Let's be petty. Yeah, exactly. Let's do it.
But the same can go for like Square Enix right now. It's Final Fantasy VII. We have Final Fantasy VII backwards compatible on Xbox. You really want to play Final Fantasy VII? You could play it. The whole thing. You don't have to wait for 3 remakes to get the whole story. You could just play it right now on Xbox. But everybody want to see the shiny, pretty one, the cute new one. There's one thing, but Sony bought that, and then they dropped they dropped the prequel on Xbox. Why?
Nah, listen,
We don't want
very,
that.
I'm a
We
very
don't look at it as
basic
cute
person.
because that
You-
one
as
that
soon
one
as
was a
you take away
nonchalant
something
game.
from me,
It wasn't a mainstream one. So the prequel wasn't that big of a deal for Square Enix or Sony. So Sony didn't buy the prequel, but they remade that and they launched it on Xbox. Why? Because who's gonna care? It's the prequel.
but
That's
see,
exactly
the
what
thing, though.
Oblivion is
When your-
doing,
when
bro.
your
It's just a
opponent-
prequel to
when your
Skyrim.
opponent is moving in like that kind of way, there's no way you moving like that, and I'm just not responding.
Hey, but
I'm freaking
see, but
responding.
Sony is the one
Yeah,
struggling financially. So like,
I don't care. Listen, I'm not allowing like the Game of the Year awards to come through, and you know, Silent Hill 2 is there, and I don't want a situation where the Game of the Year awards is out, and for some reason I'm nominated once, and you guys go three bets. Nah, I'm not having it. I'm trying to keep as much exclusive to my platform as much as possible. But hey, listen,
but Xbox isn't holding
Hold on.
exclusivity. It's going to PC anyway.
nah, it's different though because I think console gamers are very different. Like for example, right, you know,
PlayStation gamers are different.
I am
That's
a
the
console-
thing.
I am a console gamer, yeah, but I'm not a PC gamer. So if you think about it this way, yeah, if PC and Xbox and console were so interchangeable, then I think the consoles wouldn't exist for Xbox. Right? Like, what's the point at that case? Why haven't I upgraded to a PC yet? Like, because I like console gaming. I like sitting on the couch and just watching it from a distance. So I think there's definitely a space for console players. But listen, 1 hour 10 minutes, it's 12:40 a.m. here. I gotta go to bed.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's
Listen,
right. God damn.
Ken Wall, thanks for coming through. Coffee, thanks for
Sure.
coming through.
Hey, Coffee, what coast are you on?
I'm Central.
Oh, Central. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
East.
Oh, so you're an hour.
Yeah.
You Americans, right?
Good old
to everyone
US of
watching
A.
this, thanks for watching. I'll leave Coffee's channel in the description, and I'll leave Ken Wall's as well. I appreciate you guys.
All right.